Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. All right, let's talk about a couple of quick things. Have you heard in the news lately um, the power substations around America that have been attacked? And it's really weird. But that kind of just goes back to what I've been talking about for years about fogs, forced off-grid survival. Because when I lose power, it is very inconvenient for me. And I like to be able to have my strategies in place that I can implement while the power is out, whether it's for 2 hours or for 2 days. I can ramp up my survival strategies to set what help me through whatever the situation is going to end up being. So I've talked about it many times, and that I don't want to go into the whole program. But I have to tell you, if you're not doing a FOGS program right now, you really are making a mistake, because now to add to Mother Nature and all the other things can cause you a problem. Now we can add the attacking the power stations. So you might want to get on board and start thinking about some of those things. Oh, check this out. This is one of my glue guns that I bought off of Ryobi. I really like it. This is the big one. But the glue sticks are always, every time you turn around, you got to put another one in there, it seems like. But sometimes you don't have them right by your fingertips. Well, there they are, right by my fingertips. I just hot glued the bottle right on the top of it, the bottom of it, the base. And I drilled 4 holes in the end of the cap that snugly fit the glue sticks, and I just stick 4 of them in there. I always have some in there so that if I'm in the middle and I'm using it and all of a sudden I ran out, I can just reach and grab it and shove it down in there. So that was a great addition. I don't know why they don't put that kind of onboard storage capability on the hot glue guns. It is convenient. I have my other one too. Oh, here it is. This one is the cradle type. So when you take this out, it's not charging, it's not heating it up anymore. You just use the residual heat there, and when it gets too hard to use, you put it back. Most of the time, I use it for a few seconds, and then I put it back down anyway. And this is that's why I like this unit. And it runs the smaller sticks in it. So I bought both of them to try them out and see if I liked one better or not, and maybe even talk about it. So if you want to talk about these in detail, let me know. But I do want to put something like that glue stick holder on this thing here. Probably, again, on the base, not on the unit, but I don't know. Maybe I could put 2 sticks right here that I can grab, put them in something that would be right here, and that would be with the gun while you're using it. So anyway, I'm giving that some thought. Your input would be appreciated too. But I thought this was a great little tip. I finally figured out to do that. So, and I'm probably not the first one to think of it, but I don't remember ever seeing anybody talk about doing something like that with a glue gun. So, anyway, so much about the glue gun. I talk about Missy for just a second. She's now turned 1 year old this month, about a week ago or so. And I have come to one conclusion. She's been quite the puppy since we got her. She was 2 months old when we got her. So she's going through a process, learning everything, the do's and the don'ts, and she has not learned all the don'ts yet. But I will tell you one thing. She is a very domineering dog. She's a bully. She bullies Annie all the time. Annie puts up with it most of the time, but every now and then, the wrath of Annie gets her. And she is sassy. She bites, and she growls right back and they'll go right at it a couple times a little bit. And just because she is so aggressive for a dog. And it's so funny because, like, even when I scold her, I'll sit there and she'll be doing something. I reach down to her and I'll tap her on the head with my finger and I'll go, "Don't you do that." And she'll be looking at me and she'll go, "Arr," and kind of growl a little bit and snap a little bit, just ever so slightly toward my finger as I'm pointing it, like, "Don't point at me." And she's sassy. Anyway, I do like that. I could talk about her all day long, but I just thought I'd give you an update since she's now 1 year old that she is coming along pretty good. She's starting to listen to us and try to understand what we want and do what we want. So, but she still has a lot of puppy, and still, because of her personality, she's always thinking, I want. And that's that's one thing that makes her kind of a pain sometimes. But stay tuned. I still use two ways I have to discipline her. Because with her, I really had to discipline. Annie, I never had to. She would listen. She always wanted to do what you wanted her to do. But this other one, so the two methods that I had to discipline, yes, the water gun. This thing is great in the shop because I can reach her or both of them anywhere if they're acting up. And they both know what that gun means when I pull it out, that it's time to stop doing it. And if I squirt them, oh, it's like I slapped them. It's so funny. The other thing I do a lot is I'm a towel. When I was a kid, I was really mean with the flip of a towel. Anything was a weapon, and I was vicious. So anyway, so the first thing I do with her is I grab a towel, and I'll just kind of hold it like this. Anything, any size, any kind of towel, or any kind of cloth. As soon as I do this, she perks up and then she stops what she's doing. It's like she knows I'm about to get swatted. And if I do have to, she tries to stay out just out of range where she thinks this is. And I go that little extra and still nail her. Then she runs off. So she knows what this is too. So there's a little bit of this going on for discipline. Nothing serious. She is quite a character, but it does take a little persuasion sometimes with her to get her to do what she's supposed to do. So you know who isn't as big on corporal punishment as I can be. And I'm not mean. I don't beat the dogs or anything like that. But I do believe in that little bit of snap to get their attention sometimes. That's what it's really about. They're thinking about themselves hard. They're not listening to what you're telling them. And you got to get their attention so that you can get control of them. So, anyway, it does take that little bit of extra with her. And it's so funny to watch because you know who just talks softly to her all the time and tells her don't do this. And eventually figures it out. But she's a little more domineering, trying to do what she wants to do with you know who than she does with me at times. So anyway, she is a treat to have around. I'm glad we got her. And when Annie is gone and missed, she'll help fill that void a little bit easier, I think. So anyway, besides this big project, you're probably wondering, what else have I been doing? Well, guess what? Look at this. This is my, let me put this on swivel. And let me get my swivel out. My Lazy Susie. And there we go. This is my little Ryobi battery pack. You can put up to 4 batteries in it. And it has an adjustable handle on it, so I can take the handle and extend it out and become a shoulder harness instead. So you can hook it over your shoulder and keep your hands free to carry other things. It's a little heavier than I want, but it is very cool. This side, I have 18 volts, Anderson, an 18-volt cigarette lighter plug-in for access direct battery power. Or I can go through the inverter, and all that power comes out on this end of the box. This is a 12-volt here. The 12 volts come out of this Anderson. And then I have my USB right here. So, and you can have anywhere from 1 to 4 batteries in here. Which means that if you put 4 9-amp-hour batteries in this, you'll have 36 amp hour power pack that you can run anything you want. This is a 400-watt inverter. But I could actually hook up a 2,000-watt inverter if I wanted to this power pack and use it. Because tool batteries, sorry, I might have a drink here or I'll start coughing. Sometimes I get to talking too much and it gets dry in there. So anyway, you can put the power packs in there as you want. And also you can take them in and out. So as the batteries are getting low, I can take 3 of them out, put 3 new ones in, then pull the 4th one out and put a 4th new one in. And it's a new power pack without having to take it out of service to do that. So you can mix and match your Ryobi 18-volt batteries. As long as your voltage is charged up when you start with them, you want them all to be about the same voltage. So start with them charged up, and once they run out, replace them with more batteries that are at the same state of charge again. And you can parallel batteries. And the thing about the tool batteries is they're a fast discharge and charge rate capability. I think these things, I would rate, I'll tell you the truth, I would rate this at a 2.5 C discharge rate, if you think about it. So a 5 amp hour battery, you ought to be able to pull 10 amps off that thing, believe it or not. And I've done that. So that's why I like to have this power pack here, is because you get those amp hours that you want for a medium-sized power unit. But at the same time, if I need to pull something hard for a very short time and I have to run it, I could hook up my other inverter to this thing, my 2,000 watt inverter, and then take it and use it with 4 batteries in here. Theoretically, I haven't tested it for that, which we'll get around to. I'm going to do a full review on this thing because this deserves its own OTB Thinker video. And we'll go over all the things about it, the wiring diagram of how I wired everything in, and why and how I've got access to 12 volt here and 18 volt at this end, and those types of things. What can I do to improve it? So we'll go over all of that so you can get it. But I'm really tickled to death to get this thing. This is what I've been working on since I finished working on this. I'm waiting for some parts, minor stuff, to improve this a little bit more. But basically, this thing is pretty much ready to go. And it's really, except for the handle. I still got to put a handle on this thing. But other than that, I've been watching it in the last few days. And it's been holding its value on the voltage without any problem on the lithium battery. So this thing is pretty much self-contained, except I am going to buy, and I've been looking at different portable power units for that. Portable solar panels. And I think I'm the Dokyo or something like that brand. They make a 300 watt panel that you can buy. And I think maybe 300 watts would be a good amount to be able to plug into this. So, and it actually, that kit, that 300 watt kit, I'll leave a link to the description, or I'll share it with you if you want to know about it in particular. But I've been looking at portable power solar panels that I can plug into these things on the fly, so that I can actually, while it's in service, using it, let's say if I have to use it in the house or put it in the vehicle and go use it somewhere. You can also take the solar panels to charge it while you're discharging it during the daytime hours, so to help get further along with the charging. So it's a 100 amp hour battery, so it's a fairly 1200 watt, 1300 watt hour service out of it, which is a fairly good size compared to 36 out of this. So, or 20 right now. It's only, this thing is right now is only a 15 amp hour power pack because there's 3 5 amp hour batteries in it. But it is flexible. The other thing I want to say about this, and then we'll move on, is the biggest thing about these things is heat. And what I did was the things that generate the heat, the inverter and the buck converter. And they both are externally mounted under the box, so that they're not going to get anything, all the wiring all hot and everything. So this, I think, is going to work out pretty well, and it's going to help regulate any possibility of any heat problems. If I have heat problems, if I suspect they do, then I'll start having to put air holes in this thing and grills on it to help dissipate the heat, maybe even the fan. But I don't think you need that for this type of battery setup, because the batteries, that's the other heat generator. Guess what? That's on the outside of the box too. So I think this is going to be a good design for not worrying about it overheating, but yet easy to set up and use without any big hassle. So anyway, I'm really excited about that one. And still obviously going to make some little improvements to it. I think that instead of a voltage gauge on there, I think I'd like to put a full battery monitor type unit like I did on this one here, where it tells me watts, amperage, what I'm using at that moment, what I've used over the life since I've charged it. It gives me the state of charge of the battery, all those things. I think maybe I might want to do something like that on this type of thing. But if I do more than I've done, I'm going to have to make it bigger, because inside this, when you see it, it's going to be packed. It didn't have much room in there. It was a challenge to get everything to be what it is. And I'm not done with it. These Anderson plugins, they're just stuck out through a hole. And honestly, I'm going to find some kind of... I'm probably going to have to make my own faceplate on these things, it looks like. But I'm going to have to put some kind of faceplate on it to hold them stationary. And then it'll make it easy to plug in and out different types of things if I want to access the power in that directly. I could even take the alligator clips and hook it up to the 12 volt side, hook it up to your car, and give it a couple of minutes to move some of the power over to it, and you can actually charge up your car to jump start it with from this unit, I would suspect. So and it may, and most of the time I suspect that it will start a vehicle in a pinch. So anyway, so there's a lot of uses for it. I could ramble on and on, but I think maybe that should probably do it. I think that's about it. Everything I wanted to talk about. I can't believe I did this so quickly. So anyway, if you have any thoughts about any of these things that you want to talk about, let me know. I would love to talk about anything. You know me. Ramble. So, and when I get this in the next few days, I'll do a full OTB series, an OTB thinker about this thing, about how much it can be used, wiring diagram, and everything. So, I think that's it. Unless you want me to ramble about the same thing again, probably not. Anyway, leave your comments, your thoughts, any new ideas, or any ideas of how to do these things better. Leave them down below. If you learned something here, or you like this video, hit that like button. Lets me know that I'm doing something right. Most importantly, though, please come back again, because I'm nowhere near done. Thanks, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Oh, real quick, before I go, one more quick thing. This is a little monitor. It's an AC version of a volt amp meter monitor to plug in so you can monitor. I bought this accidentally a year ago. I think I'm now going to have a use for it, so I'll tell you about that next time we get together about what we can do. So, anyway, thanks for coming by.